From Clover Park in Port St. Lucie, Florida, the New York Mets take on the Houston Astros. Spring training on SNY is presented by CDW. Make amazing happen. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Catholic Health. Long live Long Island. By Tunnels to Towers. Donate $11 a month to Tunnels to Towers at t2t.org. And by Toyota. Toyota is a proud partner of the New York Mets. Toyota, let's go places. And with that, we welcome you live inside Clover Park. Steve Gelbs alongside Ron Darling. And hey, look who it is.
I'm back.
He's Keith Hernandez. Keith making his debut this spring. That is the main storyline heading into this afternoon. Keith, what do you think of the group that this team has assembled, this organization has assembled?
Well, it's a new change for the Mets. You got a new manager, you've got a new guy at the front office that's making the moves, a lot of new players. The pitching rotation, there's 3 new guys in the starting rotation. Senga unfortunately goes down. It opens it up for the guys like McGill, Abuto, have a chance to make the ball club. I think offensively they're basically the same club. I like their offense. They've made some additions, but obviously the big thing is Vientos and Beatty. What's going to happen there? Who's going to win the third base position? Alvarez last year had a big year, an up and down year, but he had over 20 home runs. What's he going to do in his second year in the big league? So a lot of question marks, a lot of veterans on this team, journeymen, and we'll see how it goes. And, you know, the Braves and the Phillies, they're one of the best teams in the National League.
So Keith Hernandez making his debut. Almost as importantly, Brandon Nimmo, Ron, also making his spring debut today.
Well, one of the guys you know you can count on. Last year, 60 extra base hits for Brandon Nimmo. We documented that he likes to start his spring training a little later, so just starting it into March and starting in left field, which is really the big story. Agreed to move to left field so Harrison Bader can play center. Would you expect anything less from Brandon Nimmo?
By the way, I'm also making my spring debut, but nobody cares about that. We've got Mets baseball coming your way after the break. Adrian Hauser making his second start of the spring. SNY, Astros, Mets coming up next. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by CDW. Make amazing happen. By Nissan. At Nissan, they make cars that thrill. Experience the thrill for yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com. And by Northwell, raising health for more New Yorkers with cancer than anyone. Watch MLB.tv and stream over 250 spring training games and every out-of-market game live or on demand. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Here are today's pitchers presented by Toyota. Adrian Hauser gets his second start of the spring after impressing in game number 1. Dominic Hamill, one of the Mets' promising young starters. He will make his spring debut, and at the back end, talk about promising youngsters. Nate Lavender has continued to impress this spring. And there is Adrian Hauser making his way into the dugout. He'll make his way onto the mound shortly. Astros, Mets coming your way after this. Beautiful Sunday out here on the berm. Dad doing a great job watching the kids.
Sunday's Mom's Day at home.
The Astros starting lineup presented by Catholic Health. Jake Myers, Yainer Diaz, they will be regulars in this Astros lineup come this season. The rest, not so much, but you got a couple of guys competing for jobs as well. Yainer Diaz, somebody to watch, getting his first action as the everyday catcher for this Astros team, and Adrian Hauser makes his second start of the spring.
Yeah, guys, I was lucky enough to see his first start, and it couldn't have went any better. 2 innings, he got 6 outs on 5 ground balls, some great defensive plays behind him, but when he's his best, that sinking fastball will produce a lot of ground balls.
Well, he's talked a lot about how he's got to have a good defense behind him. Here's what's behind him this afternoon.
And the defense brought to you by your Tri-State Cadillac dealers, and there you have Brandon Nimmo is going to get a lot of play in left field with the additions of Tyrone Taylor and Harrison Bader, who will get some center field play. Marte, very critical out in right field. It's a solid defensive outfield for the Mets. Brett Beatty at third. Zach Short, by the way, has impressed me with his glove thus far. I was watching while I was in California, Steve and Ron. I learned how to stream.
It's a big development. 84 degrees at first pitch, and Adrian Hauser gets Jake Myers swinging for strike 1. Jake Myers standout defensive center fielder. Going to get a chance to be the everyday center fielder this year, with Chas McCormick likely in left field most of the time. Kyle Tucker in right.
Yeah, Michael Brantley retired, who was the mainstay for them out in left field. Retired here in our area here in Port St. Lucie.
Is that right?
Yeah, I see him at the grocery store all the time.
Another ground ball foul. So Adrian Hauser pitched 2 shutout innings in his first outing on Tuesday, and the key for him, as we talked about, has been ground balls. 5 of the 6 batters he faced on Tuesday, ground ball outs.
He has one of the biggest vertical drops on his 2-seam fastball of anyone in the game. Injuries really have been taking their toll on Adrian and haven't allowed him to really get his feet settled and become a mainstay of a rotation.
Well, he's 31 years old, and he has been kind of the 3rd or 4th starter for that Brewer ball club. And now his first year with the Mets, of course. Got to keep the ball down.
This is an easy call. Right Narvaez behind the plate. He caught him when he was in Milwaukee, did Omar.
1-2. Taken outside, 2-2. Yeah, I believe on the first day of spring training this year, when the Mets social media team had the chalkboards up with my first day of spring, here's what I'm looking forward to seeing. I think Hauser said teammate I'm looking forward to seeing most was Narvi. Well, here was his Brewers career: 129 games, a 4.00 ERA. Pretty consistent when he was on the mound, hovering right around there. Fly ball left center field. Ranging back is Nimmo, but it's beyond his reach. And motoring into second base, standing up with a double, is Jake Myers.
Well, Jake got himself a fastball up, 3-2 count, up in the strike zone, out over the plate. Belt high. Brandon tried to cut it off, but it was over his head. That ball was a bullet.
You knew that the first ball was going to find Nimmo at some point, being in left field.
So here's Yainer Diaz, as I said, getting the chance to be the everyday catcher for the Astros this year. Hauser takes a look back.
He's almost the opposite of the mainstay they've had for so many years, Martin Maldonado, who was defense first, hit second. He's hit first, defense second for Diaz.
Well, he had a breakout rookie year last year, one of the most prolific power campaigns from an Astros rookie ever. 282, 23 home runs, and 846 OPS in 110 games. Here's the 0-1. In there, the count 0-2.
That's a good slider there from Hauser. Sharp. When I see number 35, I still think Dylan G. I don't know why.
Just misses. Well, here's Joe Espada getting his first chance to manage.
He waited a long time, bench coach, for 6 years with the Astros. He was also bench coach with the Marlins.
Ground ball right side. Making the play is Rylan Bannon, and there's one away. So there's that ground ball out. A lot of new managers hired this offseason. Bob Melvin makes his way up the coast, stays in California with the Giants. Craig Counsell, of course. Ron Washington, that's the one that I'm really happy about. Ron Washington, one of my favorite people in the game. I'll miss him with the Braves. I would go over whenever the Braves were in town, and I would just say hi and let him go.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Mike Schilt, of course, the former Cardinal manager who coached last year for the Padres. I'm happy that the infield in, as you see, early in the game. We're seeing a lot of that in today's game. But it's good to see Schilt back with a job with the Padres. An unhappy departure in St. Louis.
John Singleton Drives that one to right center field, and that'll be off the top of the wall. In to score is Myers, motoring on into second. That's Singleton, and he's in there safely. It's 1-0 Astros.
Another pitch up in the strike zone from Hauser. This was letter high and out over the plate. You see the wind is blowing out to left field today from the south.
Yeah, that kept that in the ballpark, Keith, because of the wind going to left field.
Yeah, the way Marte was tracking it, I think he thought it was out.
Singleton certainly thought he did.
Ground ball just foul from David Hensley. Pardon me, Corey Julks, the batter right now.
Well, we've got a kind of a cloudy day, but nice and warm. It is. I tell you what, I've been down here since October, and it has been an unseasonably cool and cold and windy and rainy off season.
Well, I was here the first week and a half of spring training. I brought down 2 sweaters, and I just alternated them every day.
It was, I know you folks don't want to hear it up north, but it was a sweater a sweater wearing winter. I wore a lot of sweaters.
Ooh, that one scorched into left field. A hot shot single for Julks, and there are runners at the corners here. It was still 1 away.
Well, that had a lot of plate right there on the outside part of the plate, and the Astros are swinging the bats.
You know, when you pitch in spring training, and people always say, you know, they don't have all their best players here. They only have these guys. These guys try harder
in
spring training. They really do.
Absolutely, Ronnie.
Well, they've got something to play for.
Yes.
A lot of these guys trying to make the roster. David Hensley, one of them. He's up right now with the runners at the corners. And, you know, Hensley's a guy that was thought to be a potential breakout candidate last year, but kind of fizzled. There goes Julks. Narvaez couldn't get a handle on it, so Julks steers second.
Well, the stolen base has come back into the ball game. I mean, it's been absent for such a long time with the new rule changes. I'm seeing a lot more stolen bases. And pitchers are just going to have to keep an eye on the runners.
2 in scoring position.
Mets are playing the corners in, aggressively in.
There's Mets manager Carlos Mendoza. That's something you guys watch for at all in spring training with the new manager, to see how he plays his defense in certain situations?
Well, you always want to get a feel for the manager, and certainly this is one situation. But a lot of changes in the game. This is one of them. Infield's playing in the early innings.
There's a ground ball. Beatty checks the runner at third, fires to first, 2 away.
You know, what's interesting for a manager like Mendoza is that he's been a bench coach, so he could offer that kind of advice to Aaron Boone, but in the end, it's Aaron Boone's call. Now it's his.
Well, we're going to hear from Carlos Mendoza. He's planning on joining the broadcast in the 4th inning today, and that's actually one of the things I'm curious about, how it is different actually being the one that has to make those calls.
Well, it's something certainly that he has been waited a long time for, and I'm sure it's something that he desires. And it's a big opportunity for all these new managers.
Will Wagner, the batter, falls behind 0-2. Will Wagner, of course, the son of Billy Wagner.
Isn't that funny how dad's a pitcher and just missed the Hall of Fame, Bill?
5 votes shy.
Gosh almighty, I'd say he's a Hall of Famer. And his son turns out to be the hitter.
The 0-2. Taken in there on the inside corner. Strike 3. There's that front door sinker that we've heard about with Hauser. We're through a half. Astros up 1.
Change is
Starting lineup presented by your local Honda dealers, and as we mentioned, Brandon Nimmo making his spring debut in the leadoff spot. Nimmo coming off a power campaign that we have not seen from him. Home runs, 7 more than he had hit in any other season.
Well, Jose Urquidy had a brilliant year in 2022, went 13-8, ERA under 4, but last year really struggled with his command. His walks almost jumped, almost doubled.
Here's Brandon Nimmo, takes the first pitch for a strike. Nimmo starting his spring a little later now for the last few seasons, become something that he feels keeps him healthier throughout the spring. And Nimmo's become a player that has seemingly figured out some of his injury history ways to push through, and he grounds this one to the right side. Shea Whitcomb makes the play. And there's 1 down.
And the defense for the Houston Astros. The catcher, Yainer Diaz, we talked about him. He's going to be the catcher, the starting catcher. Kessinger, Gray Kessinger. I played with his father's last year with the St. Louis Cardinals when I was just a little young whippersnapper. Shortstop as well as his father.
This is how old we're getting.
His grandfather.
His grandson. I'm glad you said it, not me.
Oh, gosh.
I was just going to let you go with it, not to make you feel bad.
Well, I was just trying to steal a couple years.
Here's Starling Marte. Scorches this one over the head of Corey Julks. That one gets to the wall in a hurry, so fast that Marte will be hauled to a single.
Well, Marte says he's healthy. And last year, guys, the year that he had, you didn't say anything. You just knew something was wrong physically with Starling.
You knew he was playing hurt. How about this, Keith? Think he's the most important bat in that lineup this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that he's said publicly, and he's got something to prove. He wants to reintroduce himself to the player that he is to his teammates, and he's just going to want to have a nice bounce back year, and it's all about your health.
Speaking of something to prove, Brett Beatty, a big spring for him. He's up here 3rd after his first home run of the spring yesterday. High ground ball, second base, and it gets by Shea Whitcomb, but they call interference. They're calling interference, so
that's Larry Vanover.
Starling Marte will be out. They call defensive interference there.
I'm not so sure about that. I'd like to see that again.
I don't think he's calling it. I think he's putting Marte back at second base.
Let's see.
Why? If the play's not dead, I don't see the interference.
Trying to avoid him.
I do not see the interference. So what's the call?
Here comes the manager Mendoza to talk to the veteran Larry Vanover.
He called interference because Marte doesn't know where he's going. If it's interference, Marte is going to go in the dugout.
Yeah, well, he was trying to avoid him, but you can't just try to avoid him. You have to avoid him.
But he did avoid it, right?
Well, he had to go around him, I guess. He could have cut in front.
See, the issue there really is on the second baseman Hensley, because he was trying to catch it, tag, and throw to first all at the same time. That's one of the reasons he missed it as well.
Okay.
Luke Voigt, today's DH, batting 4th. So what do you do there as a base runner then? What are you supposed to do?
Well, he could have cut in front of him and tried to get in his vision.
He could have stopped.
He couldn't hit him, go out of his way and hit him because he wasn't in the baseline, because that would be going and getting someone. That would have been interference. But you can avoid. He just chose the back door instead of the front door.
Now remember, under Buck Showalter, he taught his team, all of his players, to stop. In that
he taught him to slide.
Yeah, that's right. Slide.
Because if you stop there, then it's a double play.
He might tag both of you. Yes. Right? Tag and throw.
That's the one thing as a runner you don't want to have happen. You don't want to be tagged and they complete a double play.
Boyd takes that pitch just outside, 2-1.
Voigt's a very strong guy. Power hitter, strikes out a lot. He's one of those all or nothing hitters. And he's bounced around.
Got a home run title in the pandemic year.
22 home runs in 56 games that season. There's some swing and miss.
He's got that big leg kick. A little bit of a dancing, a little Fred Astaire with that stride.
Had a really good showing in Syracuse last year when played AAA with the Mets. 1058 OPS with 14 home runs in 37 games played. And there's a fly ball to center field. Going back is Myers, and he makes the catch with one hand right in front of the warning track, and that'll retire the side. We're through one. Mets down 1-0. Second inning, Kennedy Corona leading off against Adrian Hauser. And Kennedy Corona, former Mets farmhand, signed by the Mets as a 19-year-old out of Venezuela in 2019. He was traded to Houston prior to the 2020 season for Jake Marisnick.
It's a big league name, Kennedy Corona.
I'll say.
Would have worked in Queens.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah.
The 0-2 fouls that one out of play. Corona advanced 3 levels in the Mets system before being traded for Jake Marisnick. And there's a ground ball. Coming in on it is Beatty. Good solid throw. 1 down.
Something that Beatty has worked on in the field, of getting rid of the ball quicker at third base. When he came in last year, he was kind of stuck in third gear, but he's been working on that, and that was nicely done. Even though routine play, those are the little things you look at.
Shea Whitcomb takes ball right off the inside of the plate. 5th round pick of the Astros out of UC San Diego in 2020. This is his first major league camp. This one high and tight, 2-0. Ron, you were calling Hauser's first spring outing. Anything different so far that you're seeing out of him?
Yeah, he kept the ball down in that first start. Fastball, like most typical sinker ball pitchers, when it gets up in the zone, it straightens out. Yep. And he had 3 pitches up in the zone in that first inning, and they jumped all over it. But if he keeps the ball down, like I said before, his vertical drop is as big as anyone who pitches in the game.
Well, he had a 46.7% ground ball rate last year. He's a guy that, as he said after his last start, it's going to be nothing fancy. Just go out, attack the zone, and try to rely on your defense. Those are the last 3 seasons.
You see the grip. He's got it set up for an off speed, kind of like a splitter. Then he can adjust to whatever pitch he wants to throw. One thing you don't want to do, which I learned from the great Rusty Staub, was pitchers don't be digging in your glove and tipping your pitches when you're throwing a certain pitch.
And he walked Whitcomb, so 1 on. And Keith, it's well, here's the usage for Adrian Hauser last year. Obviously very 2-seam heavy. It's a ground ball pitcher. I was going to say, though, Keith, it's interesting you mentioned not digging into your glove. You don't want to tip the pitches. The opposing pitcher, Urquidy, that was one of the things the Astros were worried about last year, and he's apparently made some adjustments going into this season.
Well, Rusty always said one of the typical mistakes that pitchers make when they tip their pitches is fanning the glove, it was called, when they had the ball in their glove and it was tight, closed on the ball. It was a fastball. When they dug in to get a curveball grip, they have to fan the glove, which opens up the glove, and that's Western Union. That's a thing of beauty.
Throw over. Whitcomb gets back. Gray Kessinger in the box, the 9th hitter for the the Astros. Now, Keith, pardon me because I know I've only been on this broadcast for now. This is my 11th year, if you can imagine. But Rusty Staub, was he the one that refused to give you
The book.
the book? Okay.
Yeah,
See,
book.
I pay attention sometimes.
Rusty's little red book.
He didn't think Keith could be trusted.
Well, no, he said I didn't earn it. He said I didn't earn it. He said I did the work. You didn't earn it. He had pitchers going back. There's Big Orange. He had pitchers going back to Elroy Face, Harvey Haddix, Bob Gibson. Going back in the 60s when he came up as a teenager. It was a fascinating book to look at.
Wonder what you had to do to earn it.
Retire. That's when he gave it to me, when I retired. That was my retirement gift from him. Now, you want the book? I can't use it now. That's great. I still have that book. I should bring it to the park. It's up north.
Look at this bullpen cam.
Wow. That's a nice one. Nice view.
Josh Corneely, one of the minor leaguers, called up to pitch today. A 1-2 to Kessinger. Fouled straight back. Do it again.
Yeah, the minor leaguers are brought over for just this circumstance. If Hauser gets into some trouble, pitch count gets up, they will bring one of those young guys to come in and try to get out of the inning.
Oh, the old minor league games. That's back in the old salt mine days.
Soup and crackers, right?
And coffee.
And coffee. That's what they had to eat.
Okay.
Drink. That was it.
For a second there, I was just, what
That's all they gave you.
They used to have a big urn, and it just had soup, so you could have soup and crackers.
You're kidding
Can you
me.
imagine nothing worse than on a 90-degree day than soup and crackers?
And crackers?
Dressed at 10 o'clock. Breakfast was just bagels and coffee. And they ran us out there all day.
Nice block by Narvaez. Count level at 2-2.
That was nice to be 18, 19 years old and be able to go through that.
I just, the soup is the thing I don't understand. It's like the last thing you want.
Why?
It's 85, 90 degrees out.
That's a good
Who
point.
wants
You were
soup?
happy to get. You were hungry.
What kind of soup? Different all the time?
Nothing special, I'll tell you that.
Hauser 40 pitches deep here. Swing and a miss, strike three. Got him on the high fastball. They're 2 away.
So when we showed you that chart of the pitches from Hauser, 24% of the four-seamers, and that was one right there.
Back to the top of the order now for the Astros. Jake Myers, who had a double and scored a run in the first.
Astros have the very unusual outfielders of a guy who throws lefty, Myers, and hits right. They got 2 of those on there with a chance to make the team.
Hot shot right past Brett Beatty. Gets right through him. And another double coming for Jake Myers. Rounding third is Whitcomb. He will score the relay late. And it's 2-0 Houston.
Well, this ball could have been had by Beatty. Just got by him. It was a bullet.
And that'll do it for Adrian Hauser. 43 pitches deep. Got a pitching change. We'll be back after this.
Change is never.
So with 2 outs in the top of the second inning, Joshua Corneely, the new pitcher on for the Mets. Second appearance of spring, struck out 2 in 1 inning pitched in his first. And first pitch swinging for Yainer Diaz. And it's out of here. That ball traveled 1 pitch One home run, and the Astros up 4-0.
Well, the wind blowing out to left, that had a lot of hang time, and that got a little wind aided. It's a hanging breaking ball up in the strike zone.
And Steve, you talked about Diaz's home run power. Anything up in the air like that to left field will be a home run this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, that looked like that was going to be a fly ball, but you mentioned the power. I mean, 23 home runs last year. That was the second most by an Astros rookie in a season. Only Yordan Alvarez in 2019 had more. You know, his bat was so good. He only started 42 games behind the plate, but they got his bat in the lineup. 36 times, started at DH, even a little time at first base. It's a nice play by Corneli. And that retires the side, but not before the Astros score 3 midway through the second. Ji-Man Choi leads off the home half of the second inning against Jose Urquidy. Mets down 4-0 early in this game. Choi takes that one inside. Ji-Man Choi 2 for 9 in his first 4 spring games for the Mets this season. A double and a home run, a couple of walks, so not a bad start for Choi.
Choi can play first base, DH, fighting for a spot on the roster. Looks like DJ Stewart is going to be the DH from the left side for the Mets. At least has the edge right now.
Yeah, Choi had a rough season last year, split time between Pittsburgh and San Diego. Dealt with some injuries, hit just 163. He had some really productive years. Yeah. Here's the 2-2. Just inside, full count.
Of course, his most productive years were in a Rays uniform, Ji-Man Choi.
Tyrone Taylor on deck. You know, Ji-Man Choi, terrified of ghosts, and believes that he's had many encounters with ghosts.
Oh, really?
Swung on a missed, strike 3.
Well, luckily he doesn't have to face Senga, though.
Yeah, the ghost fork. You know, he claims that he has had an experience with a ghost in Milwaukee at that Pfister Hotel.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Into the mystic.
Van Morrison.
Here's Tyrone Taylor. Off to a nice start this spring, 4 for 11 with a stolen base.
There are players that will not stay at that hotel in Milwaukee.
He's not the only one that thinks he's had an encounter.
I always set up, when I go to the ballpark, when I go to bed, I set up my sink, put things in
the toiletries and
stuff. I want to see if anybody comes and moves it in the middle of the night. That hasn't happened yet.
That's fit. I'm going to do that this year.
There you go. You'll see if you haven't your own encounter.
Be great for the broadcast.
Or maybe the ghost is not interested in my toothbrush and toothpaste.
All we're looking for is a half inning of material, Steve.
Another hot shot into center field, and Tyrone Taylor's got himself his 5th hit of spring. So a nice start for the Mets' 4th outfielder in his first spring as a Met. Be part of the excitement at Citi Field this season. Mets 2024 single game tickets are on sale now. Go to Mets.com/tickets today.
Oh, to be a kid again, huh?
Could do that on the berm.
Could do
Sunday.
that for 2 hours.
Boy, no responsibilities. Just don't get in hot water with the parents.
Well, there are some responsibilities, the brushing of the teeth and things like that. But I know what you're saying. You don't have to be a provider yet.
Look at that. I bet we could look back in 2 innings and it'd be the same thing.
That's right.
Omar Narvaez the batter now. Fouls that one out of play. 49 games for Narvaez last season, got hurt. That really paved the way for Francisco Alvarez to take hold of the starting catching job.
The opening series last year in Miami, he got off to a hot start, swung the bat well, but got hurt. And then he was out for, geez, the whole
2 months.
2 months. Almost the entire first half.
Yeah, kind of a lost season for Omar.
Tyrone Taylor being held on at first base. Already one stolen base on the spring.
Narvaez had a huge all-star season in a Milwaukee Brewers uniform.
2021. And that one right up the middle. Going first to third is Tyrone. Here comes the throw, and he is out, now safe. No. The ball dropped by David Hensley at third base. So a heck of a throw there. But Hensley unable to hang on when he made the tag. They're first and third, one out for the Mets.
Strong throw here. The right center fielder had to go all the way across. Oh, the right fielder come on and got it. My mistake.
Kennedy Corona.
And a perfect one hop. You can't make a better throw, and you got a little la-di-da there with the third baseman. Hensley. Always want, if you can, tag with two hands. Why? Seeing is believing.
Had plenty of time to do that, too.
The hits in this game have been loud.
Oh, yeah.
Nice throw. Strong throw. Accurate.
So here's Rylan Bannon, who played last season with AAA Syracuse. Sorry, AAA Sugarland. He was in the Astros organization last year. His 7th game in spring already this season. Former 8th round pick of the Dodgers in 2017. He was actually part of the package that Baltimore sent in exchange for Manny Machado in 2018. Takes that one just inside. Count even at 1-1.
And you can see Urquidy is not an overpowering pitcher. Got a big curveball, got a little sinking changeup. He's got to spot the ball around and be precise with his pitches.
Control has always been Urquidy's thing.
He's got a nice curve.
Ranks 8th in the AL since his debut in 2019. Just a little bit over 2 walks per 9 innings.
Yeah, Steve, last year it jumped to 3.6, so that was part of the issue with injuries for Urquidy.
Bannon tries to hold up. He did not. Ramon DeJesus rings him up for the second out of the inning.
I thought I heard a foul tip. I could be wrong. I can't tell. Good spot though, knee-high outside corner.
Now, guys, I know we're not supposed to, root or anything as
for the home team.
Just in general.
Okay.
Zach Short. I'm rooting for him.
Why?
Made a beeline to me in the clubhouse. Says, I'm a huge Jets fan. Huge Jets fan. Watch your show every week. And all he wanted to do was talk about the Jets.
It's not that all you fans are huge fans of your Jets. The question is, why?
Hey, the Jets are coming.
They are?
14th time's a charm. It's only been 13 years. 14th year, it's a charm.
Hey, listen, I had my buddy in town this week, Marty Gavin. He's a huge Jets fan with you guys. We went to a restaurant, and Joe Namath was there, and he got to talk to him. Like the greatest moment of his life.
Well, Zach Short grounds out, but boy, what a bullet.
There you go.
Some still photos from this spring early on. Mark Vientos. See, this is what we were talking about. It was cold. It was chilly. No, it wasn't New York, but it was chilly. Ji-Man Choi, assuming after his home run.
Darryl.
Darryl Strawberry getting his number retired this year.
By the way, Vientos is a big man, not next to the straw.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a future big leaguer.
Glove ready. Ready for a homer.
Starting to get a little overcast here. There was some rain a little further south. The Nationals game actually postponed.
It's a strike on Schultz, Steve. Took too long to get in the box.
Well, it happens.
New pitcher for the Mets, Jake Diekman, making his spring debut. One of the 1,000 new arms in this Mets bullpen. That honestly, Ronnie, I think this bullpen's pretty intriguing.
Yeah. Well, I love the signing of Diekman. I've always been a big fan. It's like having Chris Sale in your bullpen. He's got that 3/4 arm action, throws still as hard as he did when he first came up. Tough time in Chicago, traded to the Rays, and he figured it out.
That's a high fly ball, left center field. Going back is Nimmo, and that one is off the light pole and gone. Corey Julks with a home run, and the Astros score again, and it's 5-0.
Again, very similar home run. He hit this ball well. I'm not taking anything away from him, but you get the ball in the air. Yainer Diaz hit the home run. That was off the pole. Anything in the air to left field is going to go. I like the fact that Diekman brings a second left-hander, Ronnie, in that bullpen to go along with Brooks Raley. You know, the Mets for a long time, I always go with one left-hander. There's a reaction of Diekman. He's given up a few in his day. He's a veteran. He's 37 years old.
And it is amazing. I mean, we talked about it last season extensively when the Mets played the Rays, but they just have a knack for getting the best out of guys. And with Diekman, he stopped throwing the sinker and the cutter when he was with Tampa, focused on the four-seamer, the sweeper, and the changeup. Are we calling it the sweeper? No, we got to call it the sweeper now.
No.
Everybody's accepted it.
If the pitcher calls it a sweeper, you call it a sweeper.
Zach Short makes the play, one away. But you know, changed up his repertoire and said he learned how to shape the pitches in optimal ways, and I don't know exactly what that means, but you know, Tampa Bay does it, and he was great with them.
But he had 13 appearances with the White Sox with an ERA of 7.94. He comes over to Tampa and in 50 appearances has a 2.18.
Here's Will Wagner. Struck out to end the first inning. You know, the Astros have some interesting decisions coming up. Alex Bregman is going to be a free agent after this year. And, you know, it's very possible that the Astros let him walk. We've seen it with Correa. We've seen it with George Springer. And if they do, Will Wagner is one of the in-house candidates to fill that spot at third base. Tuve is one they're keeping as he loops that one over the outstretched glove of Brett Beatty for a single. Altuve just recently signed an extension.
He's going to make him an Astro for life. Really.
Yeah, 5-year extension.
Well, he's quite a player. Little mighty might. Well, it's a lot of success right there, is it not?
7 consecutive ALCSs. And it is amazing when you consider those names that they've let go. I mean, they have found ways to regenerate internally a lot of the time.
Well, they let Correa go, and Jeremy Pena had the best postseason anyone could ever have. Right.
Kennedy Corona skies that one to left center field. Converging on it is Tyrone Taylor. One-hand grab, 2 away.
I think Kyle Tucker is a free agent in 2 years.
Kyle Tucker's a free agent in 2 years. He has said that he does want to talk extension, and Dana Brown, the GM, has said that they will make an offer to Tucker at some point. Said they'd make an offer to Bregman too. You just don't know what that offer will be. But now look at this. Look at this success.
Yes. Well, you ask yourself, why do teams just regroup
and tank for a couple of years. It's teams like the Astros and the Cubs that were able to replenish and be two of the best organizations in the game, especially the Astros.
Tucker and Bregman were both the same draft, right?
Right.
3 picks apart, 2 top 5 picks, I believe. 2nd overall Bregman and 5th overall Tucker. Shea Wick going.
Oh, that got away.
What do we say? Just a bit outside.
That was supposed to be a breaking ball down and in. I think that had to get a slip out of his grip there.
A little humid here today.
Oh, well, look at the people in the front couple of rows. They always try to get out of the way, even though they have netting there. I think that might be a changeup he's working on.
When you're at the point that Diekman's at, 12 years in the big leagues, how do you approach a spring training?
You're just getting your work in. You're not even thinking about the result. Now, you would love every time you go out there to be 3 up and 3 down, but it's certainly not going to be like that. You have to get whatever works for you to get your pitches ready for March 28th. That's really that's all you're thinking about. 2 responses if you're a pitcher, a reliever or a starter after an outing in spring training. My stuff is sharp. I got my work in. One or the other.
That one foul. 8 up the ball boy.
Yeah, it was coming in hot. That's all right. He blocked it. He got a glove on it.
Kept it in front of him.
Oh, little Olay.
Right off the inside of the left thigh. Rub some dirt on it. 2-2. Fly ball. Long run in for Marte, but he settles underneath it and ends the inning. Another runner cross for the Astros. They're up 5-0 through 2.5. Time to check in around the majors, presented by CDW. So now 2 of the Boris Big Four free agents are off the board. Matt Chapman agreeing to a 3-year, $54 million deal with the Giants. Pair of opt-outs, just like Cody Bellinger has with his 3-year, $80 million deal with the Cubs. And so far, probably not what those guys were expecting.
Hey, listen, they're great contracts for a lot of money, but when you think, and it's been reported that maybe you could get a contract over $100 million and you don't, then it feels like a big step back. But for Chapman, that's a perfect place for him to be.
High fly ball. Right field. Kennedy Corona makes the grab, one away.
I mean, he's playing for his old manager, who was the manager of Oakland when he was there. He's great defensively, so that's going to help Logan Webb, Alex Cobb, all of the pitchers for San Francisco. They're going to have quite an infield defense. His issue is that he just hasn't hit as much as you think he would.
Had a great start to last year, and then it kind of cratered.
And what does that mean for J.D. Davis? I mean, he was their third baseman.
Well, you know, Wilmer led them in home runs last year, so Wilmer's like their DH, right? So it's going to be interesting. You would think acquiring Chapman maybe puts J.D. on the trading block again.
Yeah, because they need a shortstop, too, the Giants.
That was a shocker that the shortstop Crawford left.
Yeah.
And he went to St. Louis, and it looks like that he's not going to be the starter there.
I think they brought him in to mentor Mason Wynn.
Yep.
Long run for Corona and a nice sliding grab in foul territory. 2 away. Nice job by Corona.
He's the star defensive player so far in this game.
Well, he's playing his old team.
The big throw, and now this catch.
Brett Beatty with 2 away. Grounded into that fielder's choice, that runner's interference in the first.
playing Brett to pull on the infield, as you can see, as much as they can with that shortstop way up the middle.
Bends over the outside corner, 0-1.
Well, it's a big year for Beatty and Vientos.
It's a big year because they are now, I think, with David Stearns leading the organization, more friendly to younger players playing and getting their chances. So they're going to get their chance. Now they got to show that they can play here.
Yeah, I really thought they did Vientos a disservice last year when they called him up the first time, and he just sat the pine.
He was red hot too,
and he was
he hit that home run, and then he didn't play.
He didn't play, and that's a tough spot for a young player who's chomping at the bit to get in the lineup. And it was a good thing that they sent him back down and get his stroke back, and then they called him up and he got more play time. He showed me some power in the latter months of the season.
Foul ball, that'll reach the seats. I'll tell you, Vientos from day one has had a different feel about him this spring. He knows he's getting an opportunity. They haven't gone out, at least at this point, and signed a full-time DH because they want, as an organization, to see what Vientos can do, and I think it's put him at ease. Topped over to the right side. Whitcomb makes the play, retires the side. When we come back, we'll hear from the manager. Carlos Mendoza joins us after the break. Fourth inning here in Port St. Lucie. Michael Tonkin, the new pitcher for the Mets, and joining us on the broadcast, we cannot thank him enough for doing this in the middle of the game, the new Mets manager, Carlos Mendoza. Carlos, thank you so much for doing this. And, I would imagine you've wanted to be a manager for a long time. You get the job, a lot of anticipation for your first spring, the way you think it may go. How has it matched up to what you thought it would be, at least early on?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me here live. It's been great, like you said, you don't know what to expect. And then, 3 months go by and you're making phone calls and just having conversations, but not till when you report and start seeing people's face and getting the feel for it. Pretty much everything in here. There you go.
Beatty, the running throw, one away.
It's been great. Been blessed to have this great opportunity to put in the uniform as a manager for the first time and to do it for the Mets. What an incredible honor. And then to be able to do it with the people that I'm surrounded with is special. But overall, since day one, it's been great.
Carlos, coming from the Yankees and to a new organization where you don't have the feel for the players, and you've got a lot of players in camp that you have to evaluate. What has been that transition for you, and when did it start, and how did you go about the process before you had eyes on?
Yeah, it started as soon as I got the job. The very next day I was on the phone with a lot of the players, introducing myself and just kind of get to know them over the phone, but then some visits to some of them. Because I needed to get going early, and not only with players, but putting together a coaching staff, getting to know the organization, for every department, whether it was player development, whether, scouting, analytics, and all, support staff, the medical stuff. I mean, it's a lot of people that you got to get to know. And, like I said, from day one, it was a challenge. But, once you get here and you get a feel for it and you start meeting people and seeing people's face and getting on a rhythm and getting on a routine and, it's the day-to-day operation, in the conversations. Having a lot of breakfast, a lot of lunch, a lot of players on my office day in and day out, conversations in the dugout, just to kind of get a feel for the way they see the game, the way I see the game, and just building that relationship.
Carlos, you've got to be so proud. Your family's got to be so proud. But also, you've got to be proud to represent your country, Venezuela, as a manager now in the major leagues.
Yeah, 100%. It's an honor, to be able to represent not only Venezuela but the Latin community. You know, through this platform, it is an honor, humble, and excited. You know, ready for this challenge. Really looking forward to it.
Carlos, you know, you've spent the last 4 years as a bench coach, so you've been intimately involved with the decisions in game with Aaron Boone. What is different, though? I know it's very early on, but even in spring, what is different about now being in that chair, the guy that makes the final calls?
Yeah, well, not only the final calls, but the conversations that, as a manager, you need to have with your players. You know, as a bench coach, you do have them, you know, but there's a lot of things that you are trying to take care of, you know, whether it's the scheduling, whether it's the logistics, whether, you know, you name it. There's so many responsibilities that, as a manager, having those conversations on the side, on your office, informal, formal conversations that, you know, as a bench coach, I didn't see those.
Carlos Mendoza, you're a smart man. You told your guys, hey, I'm going on camera. I want a quick 1, 2, 3 inning this half.
I put Tompkin in there. Just
Thanks so much, Carlos. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we're through 3.5. Mets down 5-0. All right, where is this? Where is this? The St. Lucie River. Huh? I didn't know that. I've been coming here for 11 years. I didn't know about that.
It is a huge river. That's probably down in Palm City near the beautiful Floridian that the owner of the Houston Astros, Jim Crane, owns. Well, that's a nice view there. Beautiful ballpark. Keith, you said we got some rain coming?
Yeah, it looks like it's coming in right now. Ominous clouds as Brandon Bielak replaces Jose Urquidy after 3 scoreless innings for Urquidy.
Bielak has a chance to, he's fighting for the 5th spot in the rotation. Hunter Brown and others are fighting for that spot. First 4 spots are really taken care of, although Justin Verlander has a hurt wing right now. He's trying to get better. Urquidy, who pitched today, Framber Valdez, and of course Christian Javier.
By the way, guys, this is interesting. So defensively, same defenders on the field, but David Hensley switched from third base to second base. Gray Kissinger switched from shortstop to third, and Shea Whitcomb from shortstop, from second base to shortstop.
Wow. Well, they're working on the versatility of their infielders, right? You can work on it all you want. You're not going to play once the season starts because they are locked with Bregman and Pena and Altuve.
Luke Voit 0 for 1, off to a slow start this spring, 1 for his first 14. Brandon Bielak, a local kid from St. Joseph in Metuchen, lives in the offseason in Sayreville, New Jersey. Born in Edison. 11th round pick of the Astros in 2017 out of Notre Dame.
27 is kind of a precarious age, right? This is your probably last shot.
Well, he's out of options. That one just goes foul.
No, he pitched last season. He pitched in relief. Made some starts. He's very talented arm, great control.
Yeah, 13 starts, 15 appearances, a 3.83 ERA. So is definitely a viable option for this Astros team. But if he doesn't make the club out of spring training, then they'd have to send him through waivers to try and retain him. Payoff pitch is taken low, and Boyd on with a leadoff walk.
You know, I mentioned in passing Justin Verlander. He had a shoulder issue when he first came to camp, but it looks like he's rounding into shape just through 60 pitches in a side session, so he's about ready to go, and that's good news for JV.
I just noticed some of the new additions to the ballpark here down the left field line. The beach house, the bullpens underneath. really nice. Remember what it was when we first came here? I mean, it was just the bare bones.
I mean, it was nothing out here. We used to call it Port St. Lonesome.
Yeah, but it was. Oh, lonesome me. I mean, come opening day, it was a big jailbreak.
I will say that every year you come down and there's something new that's popped up. They had a little mini golf course in tradition where the Mets were taken by, I guess, elder statesman Brandon Nimmo the other day. Brandon Nimmo's been in this organization, since 2011?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty cool, though, that, he spearheaded getting all the players together, and that's always a good thing. Bonding is, it doesn't matter what other folks say, bonding is important on a team. You like to be a close team. It's better than the other option.
He has been just a treasure for me to watch his entire career and watch his development into the player that he's become. And he is an outstanding major leaguer. And to have seen him from day one has been fun to watch.
And couple that with an outstanding human being.
Well, there you go. And he has never changed. He is the exact same guy he was back then. Even today, I was in the clubhouse and I saw him and we were chatting a little bit. I said, I'm calling the game today. And he says, so what? Tell me about that. What's different? How is that different than what you do? What's the hardest part? What do you like the best? And he's just a genuine human being, a genuinely great guy. Mets are lucky to have him for, when we talk about Altuve being an Astro for the remainder of his career, you'd think that contract that he signed last offseason has a chance to put Nimmo in that category with the Mets.
Ooh. Keith and I, early in our career here at SNY, we had to do some commercials, remember, together?
Yes.
And Brandon did one with us.
I remember
and
that
I'll tell you, we had the most fun doing with him because he just had such a great big personality.
Good breaking ball right there.
G-Man Choi down swinging. One away.
It's a big, hard breaking ball, Keith. Down and in.
Yep. Chased it a little bit, but that's a tough one to lay off.
Here's Tyrone Taylor. Singled in the second. Really good starts this spring for Taylor.
Well, he brings an excellent glove and strong arm in the outfield. And that's looking to bolster that defensive outfield.
Well, he certainly does that. Has never committed an error in his career. Tyrone Taylor. 508 for 508 to begin his career. That's the most by an outfielder since Jacoby Ellsbury had 554 in a row to begin his career from 2007 to 2009. Only remaining player in the majors right now with 0 errors, a minimum of 500 innings. And the good thing for me is that I'm saying this on March 3rd. Hopefully when he makes an error early on this season, it's far enough away that people won't remember I just said it.
Yeah, don't break that out on March 28th, brother.
And there's a fly ball to center field, but that'll die in front of the warning track. 2 away. I'm sure Gary will say it in the regular season.
Gary has no problem.
Everyone will blame him, not me, right?
Oh, yes.
You know?
On the internet, they'll
forget about the fact that I just brought it up.
Lambast him. There you go again.
You ruined it.
You jinxed it.
Here's Omar Narvaez.
I'm just thinking, for these folks who want to take a shot, he does not care.
I can't tell you how many tweets I get that say, hey, can please let Gary know to stop doing that. Please.
Oh, really?
Can you imagine if I, in the middle of a game, I said, hey, guys, can you open me up so Gary can hear me? Gare, please don't mention the no-hitter next time, okay?
You should. Come on, you take charge. You're not the rook on the sidelines anymore. You know, you've
not
been
even
here.
close.
How many years have you been here?
This will be my 11th year.
Come on, you're a seasoned veteran.
Think I can do that?
Yes.
All right.
I'd recommend not doing that.
Keith's like the older brother trying to get the younger brother in trouble.
Our producer, Eddie Warman, just got in my ear and said, Steve, you cannot. Tell you, Keith had the nicest thing to say about Eddie Warman today, who's filling in for Greg Picker here. He said, I don't mind you.
I said I don't have a problem with
That's right. I don't have a problem with you. So I got a missed strike 3. So Narvaez down, and the Mets still scoreless through 4. Astros up 5-0. Amazing lives wherever you are. Don't miss a single Mets moment with the SNY app. Scan the code and download today. Well, you see the fans starting to scatter a little bit. That ominous cloud has given way to some rain, light to begin, so they'll keep going for now.
It's raining pretty good right now.
Mets have some changes. New pitcher Cole Sulser. In left field, Ben Gamel replaces Brandon Nimmo after his first outing of spring. And Trace Thompson, who has gotten off to a heck of a start for the Mets, he replaces Tyrone Taylor in center. There's Sulser, last season with the D-backs.
Sulser's got a good changeup. Oh, this is like perfect weather if you're a kid. It's hot, it's raining, it's going to get muddy at some point. Little brother's giving the big brother all he can handle.
Getting after it.
Big cut.
Big brother said, okay, I've had enough.
Sneak attack. He's going to kick him.
Little MMA.
That's getting rugged.
We might have to get out of there.
He likes it.
Big brother had enough. Singleton, high fly. Thompson with room, one away. This is why, by the way, it's the youngest sibling that's always the best athlete.
The best athlete and the toughest.
Yeah.
You're always, when you're the youngest, you're playing against people that are older and stronger than you and taller than you, and you got to try harder.
You know, it's interesting that when Joe Mauer went into the Hall of Fame, he couldn't have been more effusive in his praise of his older brothers, who always took him along. And just like Keith said, he was always playing against his brother's friends who were 4 or 5 years older than he was.
Yep. It was tough in basketball because everyone was taller than you. I used to get so frustrated. I played pickup games with my brother, and he'd have to let me get ahead and let me come back, and we played at 15 or 20, right?
Look at this. They got him. The 2 younger siblings each grabbed a leg, and here comes the parents.
They're having a blast.
They are.
Mom's going to have to do some laundry tonight.
Look at the older brother cracking up.
Mom probably got a text from one of her friends that your kids are on TV fighting.
Ooh. That one is hit hard to center field, but guys in front of the fence. There's 2 away. Hey, by the way, speaking of brothers, Keith.
Yes.
Congratulations on the Hall of Fame. You and your brother. Here's that picture from the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Tell the people, what was it?
The Pacifica Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame, where I grew up. The gentleman on the left was the wrestling coach for ages, state championships. The young lady over there was in administration, which I never realized that when you have sports in high school, they have to work with the state and all the organization. There's a lot of people that are at the desk doing all that, coordinating it.
Right.
And she's a lifelong, she was also a great athlete, basketball player, all from Pacifica.
Now, for our fans, Pacifica is south of San Francisco.
South of San Francisco, around 17 miles south. When I grew up, it was all artichoke fields.
How excited was Gary?
Gary was to the moon. He was.
Yeah.
It was a great night for Gary. A great night for me. Bruce Jenkins at the San Francisco Chronicle, the Green Sheet sporting page, wrote a really nice column about Gary and myself on the front page of the Sports, and it was just a wonderful night.
Another time violation.
Yep.
Seen a lot of those here today.
Saw a lot of old friends that I hadn't seen in a long time.
Wow.
Swung on and missed, strike 3. So a 1-2-3 inning for Cole Sulser. Mom's left. They're back at it now. Bottom 5 here in Port St. Lucie. Mets trail the Astros 5-0. The rain has slowed. Continue to play through it. Bennett Souza, the new pitcher for the Astros. And we are so thrilled to be joined. That one almost caught first base. Brandon Nimmo joining us, and the one thing that I miss about not being down there interviewing you is usually you call these plays. You take the mic and call them, but we appreciate you giving us a few minutes. And we were just talking about it, that you've really picked up one of the mantles of the leadership role now, with taking all the guys and everybody to mini golf the other day. You've been in this organization since 2011. Can you believe just how long it's been?
Oh, beautiful drive over his head for a nice little double here. Maybe triple. No, there we go. Good cutoff. We got a nice double from Bannon. Driving the ball the other way. It's beautiful.
Fantastic.
Trying to be like you, Steve. We're both learning at the same time.
That's right. I think I've got more of a curve than you do.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. But yeah, no, you're right. I took the guys to Pop Stroke. I've been so fortunate to learn from some good mentors. Curtis Granderson, Jay Bruce, David Wright, obviously, and Scherzer and Verlander, and just guys that, had done it, been there, done it, trying to get to World Series, win World Series. And, the big commonality is, bringing guys together, getting everybody to pull on the same end of the rope. And, I think things like that really help with bringing that camaraderie and just putting names to faces, and trying to get guys together off the field so that they can enjoy some time with each other, learn a little bit more about each other. And same with the families too. It's good to get the families around each other and really just get everybody pulling on the same end of the rope.
Well, Brandon, it's documented, or we talked about how you like to start your spring a little later.
Yep.
So today, your first game, and of course, the first ball comes right at you. What are some of the challenges for moving from center to left field?
Yeah, I got to play there in 16 and 17. Made the switch when I came up, and the biggest things is just kind of having some cues on, okay, if it's a lefty and he hits the ball, behind the third baseman, the ball is going to come back to you. If it's in the gap and you kind of see, some top spin on it, it's going to go down hard. And just trying to read those swings and get out there and just get those reads so that your first 3 steps can be correct. Usually in the corners, you're going to catch the ball in the first 3 steps. It's not something that you're going to, get a little bit more ground, gain a little more ground on. So you're just really trying to get those reads and have those cues already in your head and kind of know the hitter before you get up there, which is very similar to center. But just knowing like, okay, hey, this guy top spins a lot of balls. So if I see something, where he's really yanking out there, then just knowing that, okay, my first step's probably in, and just cues like that you try and remember. Oh, that ball's driven. Heck yeah, get a little offense going here. Oh, slick out there. Got to watch out. Another double. RBI. Beautiful.
See, we got you on the headset just in time. Got
Yeah,
to
we
left
did.
Field, it seems, just in time, too, with the slickness for a
Yeah,
yellow.
I know, right? I know. That is, we timed that perfectly. We planned that. Oh, yeah. No, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. That's good shortstop. Good player. And good to see these young guys doing some good work. Hell yeah. Atta baby.
So, Brandon, you hit with more power last year.
I did. Yeah.
And then I noticed you kind of went a little bit of a tail off, and you kind of receded back to your on-base percentage, your line drives, your doubles.
Yep.
What did you learn from that last year? Do you still want to hit more home runs? What's your focus offensively?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just trying to hit the ball hard. So whatever I have to do, whatever position I have to get myself in order to hit the ball hard, that's what I need to do. And so making sure during spring that we're working to to find that and really get in the groove. But I think power comes naturally to me when I'm comfortable and when I'm working the right way. But we finished the season really, really well, I thought, on a good balance between I wasn't trying to hit home runs, but I would. And I wasn't trying to hit doubles, but I would. And, I would take my singles the other way. And, I would just hit the ball hard. I was just trying to hit the ball hard. And, it really, I think the last 6 weeks of the season came on strong and really was a well-balanced hitter. If you take July out, I really had a great season. And so I think the biggest focus for me is to just try and be a more consistent hitter, throughout the season. I'm always looking for somewhere that I can get better. And, don't get me wrong, 1 month out of 6 is still pretty good in baseball. But, I'd love to just have that drop off not be quite so much. Beautiful swing. Oh, boy, Ben.
Ben Gamble.
Yeah. He replaced me.
Yes, first
much better hitter. Yes. Yes. Good work.
He gets the job done.
Woo! Atta baby. Yes.
3 straight doubles.
3 straight doubles while I'm on the mic. This is good. I might not leave.
Hey, be careful what you wish for.
I know.
We're not going to push you off.
This might have to stick around. If this works, this might have to be where I'm at during the season. Atta baby. Good luck. Yeah. This is great. But yeah, I think that's kind of what I'm looking at this year is I'm not going to try and hit home runs. I just know that, man, when I hit the ball right and I'm hitting those line drives, sometimes I get a little bit underneath it and it ends up being a home run. Sometimes I get a little bit on top of it and, it's a hot shot ground ball through. So just trying to, aim small, miss small, and hit the ball hard.
Brandon, I was just wondering, any noticeable difference that you can talk about between a camp from Buck Showalter last 2 seasons and Carlos Mendoza this spring?
Yeah. I think, just obviously we have a whole different set of people here. And so just learning those people, there's been a little more newness to it than last year. Last year, we all kind of knew each other, was very comfortable, and we kind of knew what to expect from everybody. So this camp has just been a little bit more of learning about each other. And same with, I'm still trying to learn, Mendy's trying to learn me. And same with all the coaches. That's why we're getting out on the field here to be able to, learn each other and learn how you play and the decision making. But honestly, it's been a well-run camp. I felt like last year was a well-run camp as well. They're both very, very professional about how they go about their business. Just looking forward to seeing what we got as far as the season goes. There's a lot of new faces, like I said, and we're excited about it, and whole new regime. And so honestly, just trying to learn everybody and have everybody learn me, and then just go from there.
Brandon, you mentioned the difference going into this camp. A lot of new faces, both on the field and off the field.
Yeah.
The sense I've gotten is that there's also a little bit of a chip on your shoulder as a group, that maybe you're being a little underestimated. Just what is the mindset going into this season after obviously a disappointing year last year, and what do you think this team is capable of? Yeah,
I mean, obviously, after last year, we're all disappointed with how that ended up, and I do think that there's a chip on our shoulder. We're obviously not picked to do as well this year, and last year there were high expectations. So, I think everybody's kind of coming in with an attitude of, hey, we do have something to prove, and we're all gonna give our best and work really hard at that. But you also, you have to take it day by day, and you have to prepare the same way. And so, I think regardless of what motivates you, it doesn't really matter to me. But you need to be motivated and to get better at this game, because if you don't get better and you don't adapt, you'll be out of this game pretty quickly.
Well, Brandon, the magic's gone after 3 straight doubles, 3 straight outs.
Well,
but hey, you guys got a couple of runs.
We got a couple runs, so I'm good for a couple runs when I get on the mic.
Have a healthy season, Brandon.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
All right, Brandon Nimmo, thanks so much.
Thanks.
SMY Play Ball, presented by Toyota, is back, looking to support local youth baseball and softball leagues. If you know a league in need, apply today at smy.tv/playball.
Smart. Brought the umbrella.
Rain coming down a bit harder now.
Or the poncho.
These fans are committed.
More fan friendly when you have the poncho.
New pitcher for the Mets is Dominic Hamill. So this trio of exciting starting pitching at the upper level of the Mets minor leagues. He is the finale, I guess, making their spring debuts, as Christian Scott and Mike Vassell pitched yesterday. Hamill off the mound.
Nice.
Can't reach it, but continues on with the play and catches the flip for 1 out.
Nicely done off the mound there.
That's that in-between play, right, Keith?
Yep.
They work on.
Once you can't get it, keep going, and it's up to the first baseman to get it to you.
Kind of a slippery track out there, too. That makes it more impressive. Thank God he didn't blow out an ankle there. A little one.
Vassell, Scott, and Hamill, all college arms, drafted in the 2021 draft. Tim Healy of Newsday had a great article about the 3 of them and their friendship the other day. I'd recommend going out and reading it. But that was also the Kumar Rocker draft, and the Mets didn't sign him. So they have a running joke, the 3 of them, that they are the no-name class because he was the headliner.
Got a good breaking ball. Straight over the top.
Last year had a 3.85 ERA in 26 games with Binghamton. 160 strikeouts. That was the most by a Mets minor leaguer since 2018. Here's the 2-2 to Kennedy Corona. He takes that outside. And for Hamill, it was really a tale of 2 halves last year. Struggled the first few months. First 17 starts at a 5.09 ERA. But his last 9, 1.88. Batting average against was just 189. And a lot of that had to do with the development of what he calls a sweeper. He started working on the sweeper last spring, struggled with it early in the season, but stuck with it, and it became a big pitch for him down the stretch. The full count to Corona. That one should reach the seats. Count remains full.
I mean, he's throwing 95 plus straight over the top. That good sweeper that you just mentioned. Kids are having the most fun on these fields today.
And he walked Corona. Is that the sweeper?
That was just fastball away.
Fastball away.
Yeah. Held on to it a little too long, but got to give him a break here. I mean, it's slippery on the mound. Ball's got to be wet.
You know, as we look forward to not just this season, but the next few in this Mets organization, well, as we look forward to today, they're putting the tarp on the field. So now with the rain coming down hard, and as you said, that ball tough to grip, just not worth it. But just to finish my thought quickly, the big difference for this Mets organization right now and over the last few years is the pitching in the upper levels of the minors is starting to come. So, you know, those 3 and some others down the pike, but Vassell, Scott, Dom Hamill. I mean, all three. I don't think anybody would be surprised if they made their debut this season.
Personally, if one of my prospects is on the mound and it's raining in spring training, very happy that you put the tarp on. I don't want him pitching in this kind of environment.
No, definitely the right call. So with one away, the top of the 6th inning, we're going to take a break. Mets down 5-2 with the tarp coming on.